What's up, everybody? Welcome back to No Faking Sports. I'm your host, David Kincaid, and as you can see, I'm not smiling, guys. Today, I'm not going to talk about recruiting, but I am going to talk about this offensive coordinator hire. I know there's been a lot of news that has been going on, so this seems like old news, but guys, this ain't it. Brent Venables will go down as the coach who couldn't get the offensive coordinator position right. Just like Lincoln Riley couldn't get the defensive coordinator position right. Just is what it is, guys. This this hire, and I know there's been a lot of these YouTubers and guys that have come on here and they have applauded the hire and they've talked so great about it. Understand, these are not football guys. I know Brent Venables is a football guy, but Brent Venables, I don't know what the vetting process was. I don't know what the thought process was. I don't know what the whole process was as a whole for him and what he was looking for as far as hiring a coach. But it obviously was not running the football. You literally just went out and hired the exact same mess that you already have. This air raid spread offense garbage. Drop down in the comments, tell me the last air raid offense primarily passing the ball that won the national title. I'll wait. I'll give y'all a second to think about it. And I know you're going to go to LSU. They had a lot of dynamic receivers, but they also had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They ran the hell out of the football. This is anything from Texas Tech, Washington State, those primary passing systems. It's not going to work. Definitely not in the SEC. It's not going to work. That is old Big 12 crap garbage. You cannot survive with that in the SEC. That is not what Texas runs. Texas runs the football, guys. They run a pro system. And they're sitting in the SEC with one loss going to the SEC championship game while we got this air raid crap, not running the football. The one time that we did decide to win the football, guess who we beat? Alabama. A perennial SEC powerhouse. Regardless of what their record is this year and the fact that they lost to Vanderbilt, they're still Alabama. They still have the recruits. They're still in the playoffs. Let me get into why I'm saying this and why I'm telling y'all this. You know I'm going to bring you the facts. Ben Arbuckle, 29 years old, played quarterback in college. But I want to give y'all some stats that I looked into that really bothered me when I looked at this. His teams as a whole, offensively, passing last year, passing for the entire season. John Mateer, 220 yard attempts, 347 completions, 3,139 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Now, if you look at that compared to what we did, you're going to say, that's awesome. That's going to help us push the ball downfield more. With all these pundits get on here and they say, Oklahoma needs to push the ball downfield more. They need to take more chances. They need to throw the ball. That is not high percentage football. You do that after you have run the ball and safeties come up and crowd the box. Then you throw the ball deep. But let's compare John Mateer's stats to Jackson Arnold's. 2 completions, 281 attempts. So he's got 20 less completions, but he's only thrown for almost 2,000 yards, 1,957 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So the passing was better for um, Washington State and John Mateer. He threw the ball downfield a lot more because even though he only has 22 more completions than Jackson Arnold, he's got almost 1,000 more yards. So yes, he was throwing the ball down deep. But the rushing, remember, guys, if you're not new to my channel, you already know I'm gonna harp on rushing. I'm gonna harp on rushing. I'm gonna harp on rushing. Running the football is how you win football games, especially in the SEC. That's how Alabama did it for more than a decade. But we think we're gonna come in with the air raid and we're gonna take over the SEC. Let's talk about this rushing. The first red flag from his offense is the fact that John Mateer led their team in rushing attempts and rushing yards. 178 carries, 826 yards, 4.6 yards per rush, 15 touchdowns. You know who else led their team in attempts? Jackson Arnold. 150, so 28 less rushing attempts. 444 yards, less than half the yards. I know what you're going to say. That's twice as much. It is. But I'd rather have my running back running the football. So let's look at what their running back did. Wayshawn Parker, 137 carries, 735 yards, 5.4 average, 4 touchdowns. And let's look at Javante Barnes, 122 rushes, so 15 less, 577 yards, 4.7 yards per average, and 5 touchdowns. Javante Barnes had one more touchdown than he did. Y'all see where I'm going with this trash offense? Not only is he young, he's very inexperienced. And you're pulling him into the University of Oklahoma to play in the SEC? Did you not look at their record? Don't worry, I'll help you out, coach, since you can't seem to freaking figure it out. Alarming, very alarming. Let me read you this. So the last game of the season, they lost to a 3-9 Wyoming team, 15-14, in which they lost the rushing and time of possession. Who else does that sound like? What do I always harp on? Rushing and time of possession. If you lose both, you lose the football game more times than not. They lost to Wyoming. We don't have Wyoming on our schedule. If we did, we wouldn't have lost to them. So you mean to tell me that he lost to Wyoming, but he's going to come into the SEC and beat Alabama, beat LSU, beat Georgia, beat Ole Miss, beat Missouri? No. Beat Texas A&M, beat Texas. Okay. He lost to Wyoming last game of the season. Guess who he lost to the week before? Don't worry, I got it for you. Same thing the week before. He lost to Oregon State, a 5-6 Oregon State team. Wyoming was 3-9. A 5-6 Oregon State team, and he lost the rushing and time of possession. And it gets worse. The week before that, 3-game losing streak to end the season, and you picked him for the new offensive coordinator? Don't worry about it. The week before that, guess what happened? He lost to a 5-6 New Mexico team. So New Mexico, Oregon State, and Wyoming. Name a team in the SEC that can't beat either one of those teams. Vanderbilt can. Arkansas can. Florida can. None of those teams beat any SEC teams. They might beat Mississippi State. Thank God that we got rid of that offensive coordinator. He's down there stinking up the place. There's no faking sports, man. I love my Sooners. Y'all see this on my wall. It's in my blood. I was on the sidelines in 1985 as a ball boy. I love this team. I'm not one of these new YouTube guys that's just coming out and trying to make money off the Oklahoma Sooners. I'm not going to say their names, but they have not been Oklahoma Sooner fans their entire life. I was born into this, so I care about it deeply. Everybody that knows me, if you say, what's his college football team? They're going to tell you the Oklahoma Sooners right off the bat. And I played football in Alabama. I played football in Texas. I played football in Louisiana. But this is my heart. 3-game losing streak to all losing teams with losing records to finish the season, in which he didn't beat them in the rushing and he didn't beat them in the time of possession, and his quarterback led the team in rushing and passing. I don't want that crap at the University of Oklahoma. That's what I got. That's what I got this past year. With Jackson Arnold keeping the ball all the time, fumbling the ball, running the football, and leading the team in passing. And us not winning the time of possession and the rushing. You know what? The game that we won that? The Alabama game, in which we looked our best. That's when we played our best football. Guys, this is bad. It's it's Brent Venables is gonna get fired. And it hurts my heart because I love Coach BV. I do. He's a hell of a defensive mind. But that's not all it is to football. I don't know who told him to make this hire. I don't know if he made this hire on his own, in which he should have consulted with somebody. Even if you couldn't get some of these Hall of Fame coaches that are no longer coaching anymore, like Urban Meyer, even if you call Urban Meyer, have a conversation with Urban Meyer, ask him, Urban Meyer, who do you think's a really great offensive coordinator right now? Oh, Saban, I need some help. I need an offensive coordinator. Would you mind consulting with me and giving me some ideas? A start, something. I know that a lot of times the fans they fight in the stands and do all that goofy nonsense, especially at NFL games, but all these coaches talk to each other. They're at events, they're at clinics, they're at different stuff. They learn from each other. Coaching is not in high school is goofy like that. Like, oh, I don't want to talk to them coaches. In college, it's not like that. Now, I'm not saying they're the best of buddies and they all go fishing together and stuff like that, but they all talk to each other. And there should have been some type of consulting going on with somebody that knows what they're doing because this is bad. Drop down in the comments, man. Let me know what you think. You think I'm off basis? Do you guys see where I'm coming from? We just went and recruited the same offense that we already have that's not as good. And not as knowledgeable. This guy is not a home run offensive coordinator hire. I promise you he's not. Because if he was, his offenses would not be losing to New Mexico, Oregon State, and Wyoming. That's all I got for y'all today, man. Peace.